Hello world, WayofTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So I am expanding our building yet again, and I am failing at doing so because of all the misplacement of blocks, and just making a nice little area for us to do a bit of Thaumcraft stuff. Another thing I did was I made a few cows, or rather managed to get a few cows by investing 2 pieces of leather into some nice safari net, single use. I didn't have a free ender pearl, or rather didn't have free 4 ender pearls. I needed 4 free ender pearls. Wow, say that 5 times fast. 4 free ender pearls. 4 free. Blah, blah. Apparently I can't even. I can't even. Anyways, and I also needed ghast here, and that is not something I would have been able to get at this time in the game. So I did a bit of exploring, and I found 2 mega rubber saplings. Now, I think these are the sacred rubber saplings, which I don't think would be a good idea for me to place in any world that I so cherish. So I'm going to put those away in here in my nice magic chest for now. I probably will pull them out at a later time because I am a curious fellow and I do tend to get myself into enough trouble that it would definitely be warranted to do so. Okay, so let's go onwards to some stuff that I managed to research. I've researched quite a few things. However, one thing that I did research, which is why I stopped, was I managed to get infusion by artifice. So we can see that we need 40 ordo to start the infusion process. And then we also need to get all of this stuff. Now, I think one of my wands has 40 ordo in it. This has 35, so I wouldn't be able to activate it with this. This has 40, at least 40 ordo. However, I want to keep it for doing the actual activation of our system. So let's get our 4 shards. And we're going to need a bit of stuff. Let's just get all of our shards in our inventory. We got our smooth stone. And I did map up a nice area for us to place our plinths, etc. So I have 12 plinth spots dotted around the area. Actually, I do not because this place is in... This thing is in... Up! Hello! I appear to be on the ground. Anyways, this is a good opportunity for me to find one of my ordo nodes. I did explore quite a bit, and I do have a few ordo areas that I can look. This one I think I'll go to... They're all pretty far away, aren't they? So I'll go fill my wands completely, then I'll be back after doing so once we get... nice 2 full wands, and a good thing I actually have them. So I'll be back, then we can start our infusion stuff. Chip chip cheerio. Of course, the node I happened to slog half a kilometer for was a fading one, and I forgot to mention it was fading in my notes. But alas, so we can use this because we're gonna need it. Let's actually see what we need. One of these, and let's put 4 of them in, might as well, and this is our not so good wand. There we go. Crafting completed, and I might as well have to do that. Now we're gonna have to create with our ordo wand. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, and air shards, why not? And our 1 ender pearl that we managed to hunt earlier. Runic Matrix. Good. Now we're also going to need a few more things. One of them is this. And we're also going to need a few things like these. Good. And now that I think of it, it'd be a good idea if we add a few more. Water. And how many do we need in total? 13. And we can add the other ones later. Okay, exiting that and managing to press E again because, derp-tastic. You can put that there. Here's these. Now, the law for our arcane pedestals is quite simple once we actually get our other stair that we managed to fall for there in the wrong location. I might as well keep things nice and tidy and symmetrical. So this structure relies on symmetry to basically get the job done. So every placement of a magical device obviously makes you sneeze. Wow. Every placement of a magical device, jars are excluded from this, adds a bit of instability. However, if you counter it by putting something on the opposite edge, like completely kitty corner from it, the instability is offset and now it becomes stability. There we go, just using a bit, and now we have our runic matrix to make our altar. So for instance, arcane pedestal, we have one here, we need to balance it, and to balance it, we put it on the direct opposite and put it here. So you can see it is completely in line. If you can draw a line, you are good. So that means it can pretty much be anywhere. However, there's one thing it needs, and it needs to basically be within range. It can only search so far. So we're going to need one more of those before we actually start. And that's an easy enough thing to do. I think we'll invest one more water shard and we should be good. Here and there. And we'll basically have one arcane pedestal to spare. After placing this down, now we'll be able to infuse things for later up to 12 items. I think I had it as a brick on the other one, so there we go. And that is basically our altar. However, we are not done with this build whatsoever. We are going to need to get some warded jars to basically allow us to create everything else that we need. So to make warded jars, we are going to need to make some glass panes, and I might as well use the entirety. So glass panes, and one more. Some wood, and by using our power of water, we can make some warded jars. How much water do we have in here? Full amount. Good. And we'll be able to make some more of those later. So we're going to need to make a silver wood wand core. We're also going to need to get some silver wood because I am a complete derp and didn't realize that I needed to get that stuff. So let's see. Silver wood wand core. We see that we need silverwood log. We need a balanced shard. We'll get into that later. And one of each of the shards. So a balanced shard requires the aspects inside the crucible. And then we need to drop in the other shard. So we put 5 of the primal aspects inside the crucible. And then drop the 6th one in, and that gives us the balance shard. If we smelt down that balance shard, we are able to get Salus Mundus out of the thing. Now to make that, it's quite simple. However, we are going to need to have a non-flammable area for this, and we're also going to need to light this up. I am a bit of a derp for that. Let's see, F7. Let's see, try to balance out the torches so that it looks nice. Now, obviously, you don't actually need to balance out the torches because they are not Thaumcraft related in any way, shape, or form. But I figure that if we're going to do some sort of symmetrical build, we might as well keep it completely symmetrical. So that means all we need to do is add torches there. And pretty much I'm stalling at this point because I'm going to need to make a few things. So we're going to need to make a fire pit and put a lava source or some sort of burning source for our crucible. And we're also going to need an infinite water source. So let's set up a small alchemy area over there. Then we can probably grab the other things. I'll go on and chop down that silver wood. Then we can make a few more things for our next thing. Things! Flux! Okay, so that thing that just happened to me was an aspect of warp. So I built up after getting a few warp related researches, mainly through the research mastery, which was mostly harmless, and I think that's the only thing that I've done warp related. So through the research mastery, I gained a bit of warp. So it's a negative aspect to my mind that basically makes it so that I become a bit crazy due to all of the knowledge that I've done. So, because of this, I've had it basically in my mind. Oh my gosh, a creeper right there. Not a good place for that. Basically, it gave me a bit of a research aspect, and that time it gave me some nice, well-deserved Terra, even though I have quite a bit of Terra on me already. So, that was a minor aspect of warp. There are more major things that can happen when you have a higher amount of warp. However, since I have the mostly harmless one, it's frankly mostly harmless, therefore I don't need to worry about it too much right now. Later on, it's going to become a major aspect, and I think I'm going to want to basically get all of the warp aspects so that we can see how interesting it becomes. Obviously, when we do the tech things, we're not going to be doing much magic, so we're still going to unfortunately have to worry about Thaumcraft related stuff while we're back at the tech aspects of this pack. However, for now, I think it's not something that we're going to need to worry about later on when we get into the Eldritch stuff, which basically requires your mind to be more twisted than a long 1 meter long spring. We're going to have to obviously get a few finer points in life. Okay, so let me get that silverwood basically all chopped down, then I'll see you guys later. One of the things that we are kind of in search for specifically is basically all of the primal aspects and how to get them out of the raw resources that we have right now. Obviously, we have netherrack for earth and fire. However, it seems that there is an infernal component to our netherrack. Now, there's one thing that I'd like to do to find Ordo, and that requires an enrichment chamber. And if we take one brick, let's see what we get. We get circle stone brick out of this, and I think this has an ordered aspect, because it's a more ordered brick, though I might just be faffing about. Yes, it does. Okay, so we can probably take, I don't know, like a stack of that, and that will allow all of our enrichment needs. So that's our Ordo. We'll put that in there for now. Now for sand, well, sand can give us Perdito, though it also gives us a bunch of other things. Is Perdito one of those easy enough things to find, or is it one of those hard ones? I know gunpowder does have an aspect of Perdito. Also, cobblestone has Perdito, however, they all seem to have terre in them. So unless we want to basically have terre as one of those things we throw out, it's gonna be annoying. Let's see. Cactus, and is that creeper plant seeds? It is, and also dead brushes. The dead brush also may have other things, so I could get shears. That might help. Let me actually get everything that I need, and then see where everything takes us, especially when we set up our alchemy. Always good when we put it into the wrong machine. Great. So, let's see what is available to us, and then figure out what we're going to need. First of all, check what we need. We are going to need to distill all of this into its base essence. The essence that basically makes up everything in this. So we're going to basically just need Essentia distillation, which is going to need an alchemic furnace. And we're also going to need, let's go with 4 alembics. 4 alembics are probably all we're going to need. Then we'll just show what's needed for everything else. So 4 alembics are going to require 4 of these V filters, which obviously we do not have enough of for everything there. So okay, 4 V filters. This is going to take up a lot of inventory space. So we're going to have to be largely conservative about everything that we attempt to do. So another thing that we're going to need to do is make up one of our things here. We're going to need to make a few more arcane stones. We're going to need a furnace, which is going to obviously not require that. What was that? Compressed cobblestone. Not necessarily going to need that. Let's see. This, and what else did it need? Crucible. So crucibles are one of those easy enough things to do. However, you actually need to know what to do. So you place down some sort of thing here. It's a cauldron. Might as well scan it while I'm at it. Da, 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 da. And then smack it with your wand, and then you got a cauldron that can be used for many alchemical means. Throw that on top, and then we have our alchemic furnace. So this alchemic furnace is basically our distillation starting point. Pop. And we're going to need to get some fuel in there. We apparently don't have much in the way of fuel with us. Maybe we can do something about that later. However, we're not going to need to worry about that at this point in time. Let's just make a hopper quickly, because I figure we are going to have need of it very soon. Yep. There we go. And we'll smack that down on the alchemic furnace. Next thing is the main distillation chambers, which is 4 arcane alembics. That's just going to require a bit of iron, by way of 8 pieces of iron in total, more gold, and more of that furnace stuff. So we're going to need 2 more buckets, and we will thankfully have everything that we need. Throw the V filters on, throw the buckets on, spread our iron about everywhere, then we make everything that we need here. How much iron do we have left in our chest? None at all, so we are going to need to go back for some more of that. However, with what we have right now, this is sufficient. Probably don't need all of this. Thank goodness that didn't land on the top. Hip, hip, hep, there we go. Okay, so we're going to need a power source, maybe a few of those, doesn't really matter. So let's break down what we need for our first thing. Silverwood wand core needs 7 shards, that's fine. We're going to be able to do that. We're also going to need air, water, fire, ordo, perdito, terre, and precantatio. Precantatio is going to come from either our greatwood logs or our silverwood logs, or we can get some from cinder pearls and our shimmerleaf. Shimmerleafs, unfortunately, we are going to break them down into quicksilver right now. We can always find more shimmerleafs since we are currently not using them for any sort of large amount. We will kind of need this nice mercury poison with us later. Let's see what we have here. First, what we're going to need is we'll just get a temporary fuel source. Just put, let's see, burn time 300, burn time 300, and that's probably the most bang for our buck. So we're going to have our birchwood there acting as our fuel source. So we have a few things. Let's see, netherrack is going to be our earth and fire source. We'll have sand as our perdito source. The reason I'm using sand instead of dead brush is because dead brush also has herba on it, so I figured might as well use sand. So that's 3 of our things covered. Our ordo is going to be covered by our chiseled stone. Our water and air will finally be covered by our sugarcane, which should be an easy enough thing to do. So I'm thinking we'll start off, simply enough, with our netherrack. So just burn all of our netherrack in here, and it'll slowly but surely distill everything into its ultimate components, and then we can toy with this stuff at a later time. So we got our fire, we got our, I don't know what that is. It represents hell, I know that for sure. Ooh, did we discover something? I think we discovered a new aspect, though it doesn't say. What is this called? There we go. Infernus basically represents the magical fires of hell. But that's pretty much not the only thing that we're going to need. We're also going to need to get our warded jars, and we're going to need to make a few more warded jars. I'm not sure how many warded jars we'll be able to make with the magic that we have. I can probably do a quick calculation for that, but pretty much I want to make as many warded jars as we can and hang them around our base area over in our Essentia area. That needs more water. Bam! How much water do you have? You have 31 water left, and I think I'll drain these wands might as well, because otherwise, well, we're going to need to go out for all the other aspects later on, so might as well just do that. There we go. So now we have 30 warded jars to basically take everything out that we need, and we are full here. So take some of the fire, take some of the wrath, and take some of our earth. So we now have Terrae, Infernus, and Ignis ready to go for our infusions. So I'm going to let these things cook up. Hopefully we'll have enough for our infusions later. And then I'll make another crucible so we can make our balanced shards. We're also going to need another thing to better segment our stuff so that we can make the balanced shards in a much more malleable manner. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, I think we have everything. All I'm going to need to do is grant some more arbor. We have some more jars. So there's our air, there's our water. Herba we're not going to use anyway, so we're not going to really bother much with it. So air, water, herba, I'll put it as one of those auxiliary things which I may or may not use. I don't think it's actually used in any sort of essentia things, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Anyways, let's make our crucible and slap it down. Get that out of the way, and then we're just going to have our simple wand smack. There we go. Now we'll have this thing. So the main thing I wanted to grab was clay. And the reason for this is simple. Clay, when combined with some of these glass panes, if you will, gives us glass vials. And what glass vials do is nothing there, obviously. If we can grab one of each of these aspects that we have and basically drop them in there, so that we'll be able to get our nice, lovely, well-earned balanced shards. Now, I'm thinking that air and water we have the least amount of. However, they're both plentiful once we have a better reed farm. So I'm thinking, what do we have most of? We have most of entropy. So for those, and we're going to need one of each of these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All but entropy. There we go. And let's might as well scan these, I guess. And thankfully we do have enough inventory room for all this. Okay, so drop. Scannable, only got one vacuos. And are we able to scan these? No, thankfully nothing can be learned from those. That would have been a glaring bug. So what are we going to need to do? Let's get a bit of a plinth area so that we can do this without falling in. So search. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and drop all these. Okay, there we go. We have our 4 balanced shards. This is still bubbling, though let's top it off because that did take a bit of our water. Let's eat a meal quickly. Burp. Now we have our balanced shards, and we can throw this in here, and we no longer need this. So we got our balanced shards, and what else do we need? We need our magic, which we're missing some of our magic. Oh, hello. That's why I put that there. Didn't even bother putting that there, did I? No, I did not. So arbor, we're done with, and we got pretty much all the magic we're gonna need. So let's place that down here. So this should be able to sense all of those warded jars on the side. And once we get everything, we should be able to start it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jars, or shards. will get one each because instability may occur. Now, what is instability? Instability is basically when your system goes, what the heck, I am getting unstable and I'm about to explode. Basically happens when you have very difficult things that you are trying to make with infusions. Basically, you're breaking up all of these items into their components and then attempting to infuse the item in the center with their essences. Now, where did I put that? There we go. So we're balancing them in line as much as we can. Obviously, our balance shard, ironically enough, is going to be the last one. Let's get our wand on our bar so that we'll be able to activate it, and we'll get 2 silverwood logs. Now, why am I getting 2 of each? The reason for this is so that if something were to pop up due to instability, like a stray lightning bolt, like anything like that would happen in the middle of the day, though there are some clouds in the sky, we will be prepared. So, let's activate this, get our wand off our bar, get some blocks on our bar so we can get rid of any taint that may or may not occur. So we're getting first our essentias. We're getting air, our fire, our water. There goes our water shard. There we go, still got it. So now our earth is going in. We got Ordo to orderize it. Perdicio. And now our Magicala, so I just got Taint Poison. So right now I am poisoned with some of the taints. So there goes our Ordo, there goes our air, there goes an explosion that might have eaten some of our Essentia. There goes our water. Now we're going our earth, order, and chaos. And that nets us with a Silverwood Wand core. There we go. Silverwood Wand core is now in our inventory. So that was a pretty basic infusion. Now we're going to be able to do that. Now, since that went so well, let's see. We got air, water, permutatio, or whatever the heck it is. And basically we got all that we need to do another infusion. So if we grab one more each of everything... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We'll be able to do another one. Odd one out. Might as well put the thing in the center, and smack, and blocks on bar. Okay, let's make sure that this goes smoothly. So it is a little risky since we don't have a big influx of much of air or water. So if we were to somehow lose it in an Essentia explosion, we could be pretty much S out of luck. Shit out of luck. Let's just go with that. I think we're all mature adults here, except the people who are kids. You know. Okay, there's our balance shard, our air shard. Fire, water, good, no side effects yet. Earth, failed. There we go. So now our earth was successfully taken, and as you saw, we had to take a bit more of our chaos and magic. So our magic is slightly less than our water, which we're at the same level, and our chaos is slightly more. Oh, because, of course, we only drained so much. Okay, now let's get this. Now, we have the ability, since we have 2 of these, to make some more stuff. Let's get organized. Now, although it's not the best wand out there, I think I might as well start with a gold-capped silver wand core. Gonna need a bit more Ordo. I hesitate to put this in, but whatever. So we're going to need to put these in. And let's see. We are going to need more water in here. That's alright. So water is one of those plentiful ones since we now have a bridge to go out over there. So what are we going to want to do to improve this wand once we actually make it even further? Silverwood wands are able to store 100 V each, which is quite a good amount. So 100 V will basically be 2 of our wands that we have right now. However, we're going to want to eventually go with our Thaumium wand cores. Wand caps. Thaumium will basically allow a much higher discount, much higher as in 5% more than the gold. The gold basically prevents the loss. Speaking about loss, I think we might need to figure a way around this. Wow. Moses, I think you're working a little overtime here. And now that we managed to defeat Moses in that epic cinematic battle, sorry I couldn't show you guys, it was a little too awesome for the camera to capture, we can now make our Silverwood wand, which is gold banded. Done! And this will have a capacity of 100 and will give us a V discount. Basically, keep things break even, but with our armor, we'll be able to have overall a 5% V discount. I think having it starting with this, so I'd be able to explore a bit more, gather a few more nodes, and then yeah. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a bit more research. I'm going to want to get the magical metallurgy, which is obviously our thaumium. Then we'll expand a bit. Maybe I can make some Thaumic armor so that I'll be a bit more protected, or rather I'll get a better discount and added 5%. Yay. And then perhaps we might be able to get into blood magic to cap things up because we got some blood magic armor that will allow, well, basically help with our thaumaturgic intrigue. Hear that, cows? I'm coming for you. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. And maybe I'll add a bit more detail to this because that looks ugly. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.